The following is a preview of my upcoming pay-per-view video, Race, Class, Culture, Religion, and the Game. The video will debut on Wednesday morning, November 29th. Sit back and enjoy this preview. Greetings, this is Rom Wills, and this is another one of my special videos. Race, Class, Culture, Religion, and the Game. Check it out, right? In this thing of ours we call game of man gets women, many people just think it come down to just some simple things. They'll say, well, if I just have a mouthpiece, or if I look good, or if I have money, or, status or whatever, I can get that woman. And part of the problem with it is there's a general feeling that you can get whatever woman. Now, most people should intellectually know, no, there's other factors involved. Because, for example, you have, there's a general consensus that, if you look good, you get women. But here's the problem. Many good-looking guys are complaining. That's because it's not so much they're good-looking, but there's other factors involved. Or just like I've done several videos on average-looking guys or ugly guys getting women. And guys can't figure it out. But because of these other factors involved, that's how the guys are getting the women. See, when a woman chooses a man, she's not choosing him just because, her vagina tingles. Hey, yeah, we can generally say that, but what's making her vagina tingle? What's affecting her choice? And there are several major factors that will affect a woman's choice in who she deals with as a man. Now, see, men, we're a little different. If she look good with most men, if she look good, she cool, we're not worried about a lot of other factors as a group. As we move up in social class, yeah, we worry about other factors, but as a group, we're not worried about many factors. If she looks good, she's cooperative. And part of the reason is because despite everything, men are still supposed to be the protectors and the providers. So her social class or whether she's working in that may not be as big a factor for the average man. Of course, there's some men out there who, they're going to be like, hey, she need to have some type of financial thing, and that's cool. But it's not as big a deal. But for women, they take a lot of factors into consideration. Like, for example, say you get this handsome dude. He could be of any race. You see some woman and, you try to lay his Mac down. He approach her or something like that. And he's thinking, well, you know what? I'm tall. I'm handsome. I got money. This woman should want me. And as many men who have those things can attest. No, it's not that easy. That's because while he might be looking at her like, oh, she got a pretty face. She got a nice body and stuff. He might, like I said, depending on his social class or where he's at, he might take some other factors in, but it's really just come down to how good she looks. It's a shame, but it is what it is, right? But see, that woman looking at him, first, she's going to be influenced by his race. That's the first thing. You have a lot of guys out here who, for whatever reason, they want to cross over or, they want to deal with women other than the women in their race. I mean, we hear about it in the black community, but, still the largest interracial coupling is white men and Asian women. So it happens there. But see, and they might think, it's a factor with men. But see, the woman, when she's looking at a man, she's taking his race into account too. So that's a factor I'll be talking about. And, that's an obvious factor. But then class. People don't really talk about class when they talk about relationships. Especially in the black community, we treat these relationship problems as one big thing. Now, I did a video a while ago talking about I wasn't concerned about the Section 8 thing. That's because class-wise, I don't deal with Section 8 women. Most of the women I deal with are middle to upper middle class if I'm going to deal with them at all. And that's just a personal thing. And then that, that's me. Some other guy, he might, they might be concerned about, some Section 8 woman because, she got a nice body. And that's also where he is. But the woman, she's going to be thinking about class too. And, as I'm going to point out, most women mate within their class. So they looking at that person and they thinking, okay, is he cool? He can hang out with Uncle Junior and them? Culture. Subcultures. That woman's looking at the guy and she's thinking, hey, is he part of my group? Is he in my social group? Is he in my social circle? Because despite what people think, despite what men think, I mean, the word hypergamy is thrown around all the time, but reality is most people engage in assortative mating. They stay on their level. Most women do, believe it or not. There's only a few women who can really come from a poor background or a different culture, and she'll go for that guy just because he got money or something. Now they still want the top guy that's within their culture. Now there's hypergamy there, but usually most women especially, don't go outside of their culture. I'll get into that, or whatever their subculture is. And that's their norm, behavioral norms, customs, what have you. And finally, religion. Religion's a no-no. We don't want to talk about it, but it's going to make a difference. If that woman is Jewish and, her adherence to her religion, she can only mate with a Jewish guy, guess what? You being all tall, handsome with and whatever, or you being able to spit that good game ain't going to matter to her. Unless you got a Star of David on, it ain't going to matter to her. And that happens with other women in other spiritual groups, religious groups. And then, like I said, it's a factor with men. That is bigger factor, though. That is bigger factor, and that's part of the reason why many men get in trouble, to be quite frank with you. So you have to consider many of these factors, and I'm just going to briefly go over these factors. I'm going to talk about race, probably in a different way than a lot of people will. Class, culture and subculture, religion. And I'm actually provide a scenario that's I talk about this scenario that was in my upcoming book. That's in my upcoming book. I'm Not Playing. Yeah, in the editing process now, so it'll be out in a few weeks. So anyway, sit back and really think about it, because one of the issues is a lot of guys, when they're out here, when they're dealing with women, they treating it as a one-size-fits-all thing, like all women are like that or something like that. It's like, no. The women in a particular group you were dealing with may have been like that, but maybe you don't fit into that particular group. Thus, those women don't find you attractive. That's why sometimes you can get men, they'll be rejected by the women in their particular race, class, culture, and religion. But then they change their venues and all of a sudden they're the man. So I'm going to cover all of that, okay? So anyway, let's get started. Let's get into that little prickly issue of race.